set a new record in snooker history because on the final day we have already sold over 90% of the tickets. So we are expecting to see 8,000 to 9,000 people in the stadium, in the Hong Kong Coliseum, which will be the largest crowd for a snooker tournament. So I hope all our overseas guests will enjoy this tournament and their stay in Hong Kong. And I want to say a big thank you to all of them because of the inconvenience caused by our regulations on COVID restriction, and yet they have accepted our invitation to come to Hong Kong to participate. And I also want to thank everyone involved in organizing the tournament, the LCSD of the Hong Kong government, the Hong Kong Jockey Club, Yellow, our event management company, and of course the committee members and all the staff of the Hong Kong Billiard Sports Control Council. Thank you, everyone.
唔該晒，唔該晒羅主席，請主席先到台下就座。Thank you, Mr. Law. Please be seated. Thank you. 咁相信咧，大家都非常之心急啦，好想快啲親眼見到8位香港世界桌球大師賽2022嘅球手噶啦。不如咁啦，我哋而家即刻請佢哋出嚟好唔好啊 ？The moment that you have been waiting for. Let's invite the players of Hong Kong Masters 2022 to be on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome seven-time world champion and ranked world #1 Ronnie O'Sullivan。7屆世界桌球錦標賽冠軍，世界排名第一奧蘇利雲。A big round of applause. All right. 2019. Let's welcome Ronnie O'Sullivan on stage. Next, let's welcome 2019 world champion and ranked world #2, Judd Trump. 2019世界桌球錦標賽冠軍，世界排名第2，卓林普。Let's welcome Judd Trump on stage. 4-time world champion and ranked world #3, Mark Selby. 4屆世界桌球錦標賽冠軍，世界排名第3，沙比。我哋俾啲掌聲俾我哋嘅咁多位嘅 superstar 好唔好啊？ Hong Kong Masters 2017 champion and ranked world #4, Neil Robertson. 上屆香港世界桌球大師賽冠軍，世界排名第4，羅伯臣。係啦，我哋熱烈嘅掌聲，唔好俾佢停啊嚇！ 4-time world champion and ranked world #5, John Higgins. 4屆世界桌球錦標賽冠軍，世界排名第5，希堅斯。2021 UK champion and ranked world #6, 張仙彤。2021英國桌球錦標賽冠軍，世界排名第6，趙心彤。And next, let's welcome our Hong Kong representative with 3 ranking titles, Marco Fu. 香港代表3屆排名賽冠軍，傅家俊。熱烈啲嘅掌聲好嘛？ And last but not least, our Hong Kong's representative, 3-time women's world champion, 吳安儀。香港代表3屆世界女子桌球錦標賽冠軍，吳安儀㗎。好，我再用熱烈嘅掌聲歡迎咁多位啊！ Thank you so much for being here with us and participating in the tournament. We're so happy to have you here. Shall we now first take a group photo together? Now let's look at the front first, in the middle. 我哋望一望中間位置影張相先啊。And then camera on the left. And then camera on the right. Thank you。咁要舉辦規模咁盛大嘅體育盛事咧，唔少得政府啦、贊助商啦同埋各個機構嘅支持㗎。咁尤其最要多謝嘅咧，當然係各位世界頂尖嘅球手啦。咁所以接住嚟咧，我哋有請香港桌球總會主席羅永聰先生，咁以及咧香港世界桌球嘅大師賽2022總設計師曾敬修先生嘅嚟到台上面咧，向我哋各位嘅球手致送紀念品，有請兩位。For events with such scale, it cannot be done without the unwavering support from government, sponsors, and organizing parties, and of course, of top-class players. We would like to invite Mr. Vincent Law, Chairman of Hong Kong Billiard Sports Control Council, and Mr. Dennis Deng, Art Director of Hong Kong Masters 2022, to present the souvenir, a customized paper cut, and a pair of snooker cufflinks to the players. Mr. Law and Mr. Deng, please. So the paper cut is one of the oldest traditional handicrafts in Chinese culture. Not only does the paper cut is tailor-made for our players with their names, it features our tournament logo and the Hong Kong Coliseum to mark the first ever snooker tournament to be held in Hong Kong Coliseum that can accommodate 8,000 people, and potentially being a snooker tournament attended by the largest number of spectators in history. Once again, thank you, Mr. Law and Mr. Tung, and please remain on stage. So shall we now take a group photo together with our souvenirs? Okay, let's look at our official photographer in the middle first. And then cameras on the left. And cameras on the right at the back. Shall we look at the middle, in the middle, at the back as well? And then on the left, at the back. Thank you very much。咁而家我哋有請兩位嘉賓咧，就聯同我哋8位嘅攝影師再望一望我哋嘅 official photographer 影相。Let's take another group photo looking at our official photographer in the middle. Thank you, Mr. Law and Mr. Zhang, and please be seated. Thank you. And would our players please remain on stage? 好啦，我哋再請咁多位球手影張大合照先。May I now invite the players to have another group photo? So shall we look at the center first, at our official photographer? And let's look at the middle. And also at the back as well, in the middle. And then on the left, at the back. 咁有請我哋嘅攝影師喺前面嘅朋友仔，可唔可以踎低少少？因為咧，我哋要影啲大合照嘅，咁後邊嘅朋友咧都可以見到嘅。Okay, let's look on the right at the back. Thank you, our players, and please remain on stage. Would our players please move a step forward as we're going to move the chairs on stage for the next session. 香港桌球總會主席啦，同埋咧香港世界桌球大師賽2022總設計師咧，贈送嘅紀念品都別具心思㗎。咁展枝上面咧，除咗有球手嘅名之外啦，咁仲有香港世界桌球大師賽2022同埋紅館標誌，紀念咧今次盛事咧係與別不同㗎。咁因為香港世界桌球大師賽2022咧將會咧係可以容納8000人嘅紅館舉行啦，咁有望成為史上最多現場觀眾嘅桌球盛事啊！咁另外一樣咧就係個紀念品啦，係一對咧袖口鈕嚟嘅，咁盒面上面咧就印有球手嘅姓名啦，咁希望咧可以為佢哋嘅正裝咧就帶少少嘅點綴嘅。咁呢個時候，不如我哋同我哋嘅球手傾下偈好唔好啊？分享咧佢哋相隔5年之後再次嚟到香港，咁或者係人生第一次嚟到香港啦，參與我哋香港世界桌球大師賽2022嘅感想嘅。Now I'd like to invite players to join us for a chit chat, sharing their views on the tournament and how they feel about joining us again at the Hong Kong Masters after 5 years. So the first question is for Ronnie, Judd, Mark, Neil, and John. So welcome back again to Hong Kong. We're really happy to have you back here. So how does it feel to be back? And what part of the Hong Kong Masters do you enjoy the most? Shall we have Ronnie to go first?
Yes, it's great to be back here at this, back in Hong Kong, in Asia. Always been a great tournament in Hong Kong. Last time I was here, Neil won the tournament, and the fans were fantastic. 3,500 fans every match. So we're just really happy to be here playing in such a prestigious tournament.
Definitely, we're super happy to have you back as well. 咁啱啱咧，奧蘇利雲就話啦，非常之開心啦，可以再次翻到嚟香港世界桌球大師賽2022嘅。咁我記得佢2017年嚟嘅時候咧，就係阿 Neil 咧就攞咗冠軍啦。咁今次係非常之開心，可以再次嚟到呢一度，咁再次見翻我哋嘅咁多位嘅桌球粉絲嘅。So, shall Judd also say a few words?
Yeah, last time 2017 was an amazing event, so. This has sort of been a long time coming, 5 years since we were last here, and it was probably maybe one of the best venues I've ever played in. I think for atmosphere, So yeah, I've been sort of waiting to get back here. Now it's finally come. 8 of the best players in the world, and really excited to get going.
Thank you, Judd。咁啱啱阿 Judd 就話啦，佢都非常之開心可以再次翻到嚟香港啊！咁佢記得咧之前咧，呢個香港世界桌球大師賽2017咧，佢覺得係一個非常之好嘅一個活動啦。咁亦都形容為係咧，佢參加咁多次嘅賽事咧，佢形容覺得係最好嘅一次嘅活動啊！咁我好開心啦，今一次再翻到嚟呢一度嘅。So thank you, Judd and Mark.
Yes, great to be back in Hong Kong after so long. So looking forward to playing this tournament here at the Coliseum. As Judd said, we played in Queen Elizabeth 2017 in front of over 3,000 fans, which was amazing. And the next few days is going to be even bigger than that. So really looking forward to the tournament and also the few days we're going to spend in Hong Kong.
Thank you, Mark。咁佢話非常之期待咧之後嘅賽事啦，咁亦都知道今次咧嗰個體育嘅盛事係非常之盛大啦，因為咧我哋會有成8000嘅觀眾咧去到紅館㗎，所以今次佢都非常之興奮啊。So how about you, Neil?
Yeah, like the other players have said before me, really looking forward to going out and playing because none of us have, I don't think, have experienced playing in front of what I'm hearing is to be true. Playing over 6,000, you know, in the new stadium, so that's going to be very exciting. I think last time we were here, that was over 3,000, and that was quite an occasion. I think what made it so special is that the fans really got behind the event and the players. Every match, they seemed to sort of clap nearly every sort of ball that was potted, which made for an amazing atmosphere, and I'm sure it's going to be the same throughout the week.
Thank you, Neil。咁 Neil 就啱啱講到話咧，上一次咧2017年咧個氣氛已經係相當之好啦。咁佢感覺到啦，今次咧應該會再好啲嘅，因為咧我哋今次係會有多啲嘅觀眾喺度咁。上次就係大概有3000人到啦，今次係有成多過6000人喎，咁接近8000人嘅。咁所以佢相信咧呢一次嘅活動咧係會個氣氛會再好啲嘅。So how about you, John?
Yeah, it's always special to come to Hong Kong. I think I've been coming now for about 25 years, but you always come every 5 or 10 years, and it's just always a special occasion when you come, because the Hong Kong fans just love their snooker, and they love to come out and watch the best players in the world, so it's always a special tournament anytime you come, and this year is going to be an even more special tournament because there is going to be so many more fans that are going to be able to watch the best players, so it's a tournament to look forward to for everyone.
I'm sure the snooker community going to grow more and more, especially when you legends are here. Yeah, thank you, John。咁John 就啱啱就講到話咧，每一次嚟到香港咧都感覺好特別嘅。咁事關咧，因為桌球嘅粉絲都非常之熱情啦，咁所以佢覺得今次都唔例外啦，一定會係一個非常之好嘅一個活動嘅。All right, so the next question is for Shintong. So I know that you're playing in Hong Kong for the very first time. So how do you feel about it, and what do you look forward to the most?
我可以講廣東話。
可以啊。
因為今次係我第一次嚟到香港打比賽啦，尤其呢次嘅比賽又係香港回歸25週年，所以我啱啱好都係97年出世嘅，所以我非常之期待呢次嘅比賽。然後咧，又係第一次嚟屋企咁近比賽咧，所以我希望呢次比賽可以俾觀眾咧，俾啲球迷咧表演得更好咯。
好，唔該晒你啊，Shintong。不如我俾啲掌聲俾我哋咁多位嘅球手，好唔好啊？我哋球手都好開心同埋好興奮咧就係嚟到呢一度嘅。So Shintong just mentioned that he's really excited to participate the tournament for the first time, and that he feels like it's really special because it's held at the 25th anniversary of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, and at the same time he was born in 1997. So to him, it's really special. All right. Okay. So the next question is for Marco and On Yi. So having the Hong Kong Masters here again after 5 years, how do you feel about it? And do you have any expectations towards the tournament? So Marco first.
我都用中文答啦，係咪？
好啊。
係啦，即係好開心，今次可以即係繼2017年之後，又可以有咁大型嘅 比賽香港舉行啦。咁因為其實我哋即係桌球係應該係香港疫情之後嘅第一個嘅最大嘅一個體育城市。咁所以我哋作為今次比賽一份子，我哋都好驕傲啦，為呢個比賽。咁所以希望大家都能夠可以發揮到水準啦。咁同埋今次有咁多即係 legend 嚟到香港，咁我哋大家球迷啊，其實我自己有份參與嘅所有人，我覺得都應該係好興奮、好期待㗎嘛。咁所以就係希望今次比賽能夠可以圓滿成功啦。
Thank you, Marco. So Marco said that he's really, really happy to be here at the tournament, especially after like a few years during the COVID. He might not have been playing in many tournaments outside Hong Kong and in Hong Kong. So he feels that it's a very, very special moment for him, especially with all the legends, all the superstars here. So he's really, really happy to be here today. What about you, Oni?
我覺得今次嘅大師賽咧，除咗對外國球手嚟講好特別，因為佢哋都有一段時間冇 travel 去亞洲啦。咁今次嚟到香港係可以話疫情之後嘅第一次啦。咁另外今次除咗係疫情之後以嚟第一個大賽事之後，我相信呢個亦都係我諗史上差唔多係最接近最大型嘅桌球賽事之一嚟㗎。咁另外我自己作為唯一一個女參加嘅球手，咁我覺得對個女子桌球嚟講都係好嘅，因為可能桌球一路以嚟都係一個男性主導嘅運動啦。咁但係透過作為女仔去參加唔同嘅賽事，又可以喺電視前面打，咁我相信對其他人嚟講都會係會了解多啲，知道桌球唔係淨係一個男仔嘅運動咯，原來女仔都會打桌球嘅。
唔該晒 Ani. So Ani feels that it's a really, really special event to her because due to the COVID restrictions, she was forced to pull out in many tournaments in the past few years. So to her, it's a very, very special event, especially it's being played in a large crowd at the largest venue ever in snooker history. And at the same time, she feels like she's really proud that she's a women representative of the Hong Kong snooker team. So that she can play in this tournament, she feels really, really pleased and happy. 咁呢個時候再一次多謝咁多位嘅球手 Thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your thoughts. So we do look forward to all the tournament and all the matches in the coming few days, and we wish you all good luck and do have a great time in Hong Kong. Okay, thank you so much. A big round of applause to all the players on stage again. Thank you. And I would like to invite our players to proceed off stage and take a seat. Thank you. 咁除咗挑戰賽嘅球手呢，我哋今日亦都請到表演賽嘅其中3位本地青年球手嚟臨㗎。咁到時10月9號下午呢，佢哋將會同另外幾位頂尖嘅球手上演表演賽。呢個時候呢，不如我哋邀請佢哋上台啦。Apart from the main tournament, we also invited 3 talented local young players who will be playing at the exhibition game on October 9th afternoon against the top players. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the young players on stage. 好啦，首先我哋邀請2022世界青少年英式桌球錦標賽代表溫國浩 Hong Kong representative to World Junior Snooker Championship 2022, Aiden Wen。咁接住咧，我哋有請香港世界桌球大師賽2022輪選賽優勝選手黃雲希 ，Winner of the selection tournament for Hong Kong Masters 2022 exhibition game Cohen Wong。我哋打聲招呼，同我哋觀眾打聲招呼好嘛 ？OK。咁最後咧就係年紀最年輕嘅青少年隊長彭家朗10歲 ，youngest member of the junior squad aged 10, Danny Pang。我哋又打聲招呼先啦。咁仲有另一位今日未能出席嘅球手，咁佢亦都係咧最年輕嘅香港英式桌球公開賽冠軍啦，譚潤峰嘅 ，and the youngest ever Hong Kong Snooker Open champion Oliver Tam, who will not be joining us today, but he will be with us on the 9th of October. 好啦，咁到時4位球手咧就會一齊咧參與表演賽㗎啦。咁呢個時候，不如我哋同即係咁多位青年球手傾下偈先啦，分享下啦佢哋對今次咧香港世界桌球大師賽2022嘅睇法㗎。Let's invite our talented young players to share their thoughts on Hong Kong Masters 2022. 嗱，今次嘅香港世界桌球大師賽2022啦，第一次咧就喺香港體育館度舉行嘅。咁就啱都講過啦，可以容納8000名嘅觀眾啦，咁有機會成為史上最多現場觀眾嘅桌球賽事喎。可唔可以幾位去分享一下咧？你哋嘅感受係點啊？去到一個咁大型嘅比賽，有冇邊個想講先啊
？Testing。咁我就好興奮啦，咁就亦都好緊張啦，因為始終都有8000幾個觀眾望住，即係我一個打啦。但係興奮就因為可以即係一個喺香港度可以對住咁多位大師啦，即亦都都係我一個榮幸啦，可以同佢哋一齊打波。因為平時我都係即係自己同佢哋一齊練波，咁就到咗9號就可以即係嘗試挑戰一下自己，可以同一班大師可以打波，就好興奮。
Thank you. So our young player said that he's very excited and also very excited to be part of the event and to play against the top players in the tournament. Especially, he knows that there are going to be many snooker superstars watching them playing. So it's a big challenge to him, but at the same time, he's going to do his best so that you guys can watch the best snooker at the tournament. 好啦，咁仲有冇我哋嘅青少年球手想講幾句㗎？好 ，Danny 係咪？
係啊。Hello， 咁多位頂尖嘅桌球大師，世界上最勁嘅6位大師，你哋好啊！我咧喺呢個香港桌球大師賽嚟臨之前呢，係未覺到好緊張嘅，但係咧一嚟臨到就嚟可以打呢個表演賽，我就覺得好緊張啦。我對今次嘅睇法咧，可以同各位頂尖嘅桌球手打波咧，係非常之緊張、非常之榮幸嘅。有咁多人睇住我，我覺得自己咁細個可以上到嚟呢個咁大嘅台，有咁多人睇住我，我覺得係好開心、好榮幸嘅事嚟嘅。
好叻仔啊 ，Danny 你。So Danny said that he's super nervous, especially when he knows that there are so many world-class top players watching him play in the tournament. So he feels very, very privileged, and at the same time, he's a bit nervous because it's the first time for him to play in front of such a large crowd. So good luck on that, Danny. Okay, you're gonna do great. 好啦，仲有冇青年球手想分享一下？
我覺得今次係一個好難得嘅機會，可以上到咁大舞台，同埋咁多個觀眾望住我哋打桌球。我覺得我自己好榮幸同埋好開心有呢個機會，咁難得呢個機會可以上到咁大嘅舞台。
好啊，我都好以你為榮啊。So he feels super privileged to be part of the event and play against the top players in the tournament, especially in front of such a large crowd, in such a large venue. So he feels really, really privileged. OK， 咁我哋問第二條問題咯。咁第二條問題應該係你哋好中意答嘅，因為頭先我啱啱都訪問咗你哋啊嚇，你哋個個原來都有好多snooker 嘅偶像喺度嘅。咁今次香港世界桌球大師賽2022邀請咗咁多位頂尖嘅世界級嘅球手喺度啦，有冇邊位咧其實係你哋最中意嘅咧，同埋點解咧 ？So having this opportunity to play against the world-class top players, who is your favorite players in Hong Kong Masters 2022？ 有冇邊位想答先啊？好 ，Danny。
好啦，我最中意嘅偶像桌球手咧，就而家喺世界桌球嗰個榜裏面排第一嘅奧蘇利雲。
So he says his favorite player is Ronnie O'Sullivan。點解咧？點解係你最中意嘅球手咧？
因為奧蘇利雲咧打波對桌球呢樣嘢咧係好認真、好正經嘅，同埋佢咧打比賽嘅節奏好爽快，同埋佢咧射波好準嘅，好聰明嘅，好多諗法，可以令個大局扭轉嘅。
Okay, all right, thank you, Danny. Danny just said that Ronnie O'Sullivan is his favorite player because he thinks that he's fast, he's skillful, he's a hard-working player. Also, he's super intelligent. So, yeah, you're his idol. Okay. 我再次俾掌聲俾 Danny 好唔好啊？其實 Danny 得10歲㗎咋，但係好叻啊！佢個思維好清晰。OK， 跟住落嚟，我哋邊個想講幾句㗎？係。
我最中意嘅球手就係卓林普啦，因為佢 啲 Q 法係獨一無二啦，同埋佢可能有陣時啲波可能拆唔到，但係佢係都有個方法可以解決呢個球，同埋幾靚仔。
好靚仔，哎，呢個係重點喎。So a young player said that his favorite player is Trump because that he really likes the style, your style of play, and he says that you play with high consistency and high accuracy. Also, he thinks that you're very, very handsome. 識揀啊！佢話你識揀。好，仲有我哋嘅青年球手。
我最中意嘅球手都係卓林普啦。咁因為我第一次喺電視睇桌球第一場比賽就係睇卓林普打嘅。咁我當時就覺得佢打波好進攻啦，即係睇佢打波好有娛樂性啦，同埋佢一啲波佢係真係我哋覺得插唔到嘅時候，佢會嘗試用一啲好誇張嘅走位去教到一啲波，同埋佢係一啲 break 佢係會打到好重，佢即係平時我哋打波，即係我自己打波，我亦都會以佢為我嘅榜樣咁樣咯。
So his favorite player is Trump as well because he thinks that he's a very intelligent player, and even though sometimes the ball isn't laid out nicely on the table, but he still managed to clear all the balls from the table. So, yeah, you're his idol. OK， 不如我哋俾啲掌聲俾我哋嘅青年球手好唔好啊？答得非常之好啊！好啦，呢個時候不如我哋有請咁多嘅青年球手影張合照好唔好啊 ？OK，let's invite our young players to take a group photo together. 好，咁首先我哋望一望正前方嘅大會攝影師影張相先啦。好，仲有我哋記者朋友中間嘅都係望喺中間嘅。好，咁不如我哋望一望後邊嘅大會攝影師啊，遠少少嘅。好，跟住就係左邊嘅攝影師。然後就係右邊嘅攝影師啦。好，我哋中間再影多張相先啊。So now let's invite our main tournament players to be on stage again to take a picture with the exhibition game players. 呢個時候咧，我哋邀請咧8位挑戰賽嘅球手咧，再一次上台，同我哋嘅表演賽球手一齊影張相嘅。咁我哋有請啦，阿 Cohen 同埋 Aiden 咧就去到我哋台左嘅位置準備嘅，台左係 Cohen 同埋 Aiden 嚟到我哋呢度嘅，係啦，我哋台左嘅位置準備嘅，唔該晒 Cohen 同埋 Aiden， 好。Let's stand closer together. Okay, so let's look at the official photographer in the front first, in the front. Okay, another few photos at the front. And now let's look at the official photographer at the back in the middle. And then camera on the left. And camera on the right. 我哋有請我哋前面嘅攝影師，可唔可以踎低多少少啊？係啊，唔該，可能會。All right, let's also take a few photos with. Oh, let's take another photo in the middle, please, at the front. And also with all our players, can you say hi to our videographer here? Or maybe let's do a thumbs up. Do a thumbs up. Do a thumbs up. Yep. 我哋舉我哋嘅手指公嘅。好啦，最後我哋都邀請埋咧香港桌球總會羅主席啦，同埋曾先生咧一齊咧嚟到台上面咧，同我哋嘅挑戰賽同埋表演賽嘅球手一齊影張相嘅。So may I also invite Chairman of the Hong Kong Billiard Sports Control Council, Mr. Law, and Art Director of Hong Kong Master 2022, Mr. Zhang, to be on stage to take a photo. Shall we make some room for Mr. Law and Mr. Zhang in the middle? Thank you, thank you. All right. Okay, are you guys ready? Let's take another photo. Okay, a big smile to the center at our official photographer. And let's look in the front first. Okay, and let's look at our photographer at the back as well. 咁我哋前邊嘅攝影師可能就踎低少少啦，唔該。And also on the left, the camera on the left at the back. And then camera on the right at the back. And now shall we do a heart with our hands? And let's take another few photos with a videographer at the front. 係我哋做一個心心嘅形狀，好唔好啊？Okay, let's take another photo in the front at the official photographer, towards the official photographer at the front. Okay, thank you, Mr. Law, Mr. Zhang, and all the players. We look forward to your performance in Hong Kong Master 2022. Wishing you all good luck, and we look forward to watching the best snooker in front of the largest crowd at the largest venue ever. So, good luck to all of you guys, okay? And ladies and gentlemen, another big round of applause to all our legends and players on stage. Thank you. 再一次唔該晒羅主席、曾先生同埋咁多位球手㗎。咁期待咧咁多位咧就喺香港世界桌球大師賽2022嘅表現啊！咁再一次多謝咁多位嘅嘉賓啦，嚟臨我哋今日嘅活動啦。咁相信無論係香港桌球迷定係球手，都非常之期待聽日嘅香港世界桌球大師賽2022㗎啦。咁喺度咧，希望咧各位球手咧可以喺香港咧有一個美好嘅回憶。咁今次咧香港世界桌球大師賽2022球手接待會咧已經去到尾聲啦。喺度咧謹代表大會咧再一次多謝咁多位出席嘅。Thank you everyone. We believe snooker fans from Hong Kong and all over the world will be super excited about tomorrow's tournament, and we wish you all have a great time in Hong Kong. So the event has come to an end. Once again, thank you so much for joining us at the press conference today. Thank you. And to all media friends, a friendly reminder that media group interviews will start soon, conducting in groups of 2, so feel free to move 2 rows forward. Our PR colleagues will let you know once the players are ready for interviews. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to see you all again at the tournament very soon. 咁多位嘉賓咧，再一次多謝咧大家嚟臨今日嘅活動㗎。咁喺賽事咧，希望都可以再一次見到大家嘅。Thank you，拜拜。 So ladies and gentlemen, moving on, we'll have the Q&A session. So let's welcome Mark Selby and Marco on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Mark Selby and Marco. All right， 可唔可以俾啲掌聲俾我哋兩位嘅球手啊 ？Welcome again on stage. Welcome. Careful, careful. And please be seated. So now we would like to open the floor for a 15 minutes Q&A session with Mark Selby and Marco Fu. And you guys can raise your hands if you have any questions. And remember to introduce yourself by your publication name and the player and you would like to ask before asking the question. So are there any questions from the press? Okay. 一個位女士。
Cable 嘅，首先想問 Marco 啦，想問下啦，可以喺翻主場度比賽啦，有啲咩感受啦？覺得自己而家個備戰狀態係點樣啦？同埋你同沙比都鬥咗18次啦，即係佢贏咗13次，你覺得自己喺邊啲位會要再加強去應對咧？唔該晒。
好期待可以再一次喺主場作賽啦，因為都有4-5年冇喺主場打波啦。咁其實自己因為疫情關係都其實停咗2-3年冇打任何職業賽咁樣咯。咁所以其實對我嚟講，仲係要一啲時間去即係恢復翻之前嗰個狀態，同埋攞翻比賽嘅感覺咁樣啦。咁所以唔可以話今個比賽我嘅備戰係十分充足。咁但係其實都係好期待今次嘅比賽。咁同埋之前同阿 Mark 打咗好多場好精彩嘅比賽啦，咁其實即係每一次對佢都有一啲新嘅感覺，咁即係好似每一次都係一個新嘅挑戰咁樣啦。因為佢對我嚟講，我覺得佢係一個即係冇乜弱點嘅球員，咁所以其實係好難應付嘅。咁即係其實即係之前贏過佢5次，其實我都覺得都幾犀利嘅啦自己，因為其實佢真係好犀，即係好全面啦打法咁樣。咁所以今次都會係一個好大嘅挑戰。咁但係其實因為疫情之後，其實 今次比賽能夠可以舉辦到，其實都係唔容易咯。咁所以其實可以喺主場地方可以打到比賽，其實自己已經好開心嘅。
Thank you, Marco. OK， 係咪仲有問題？係。
Questions from TMHK for Marco. Especially that you have dipped a bit in the recent years. So how have you been feeling when playing snooker at home, and that now you can join the race with international players? And also, this event is the first one that Hong Kong organized international sports events since the pandemic. So how significant do you think it is? Thank you.
Sorry, is that for me? For me, right? Yeah.
Marco.
Yeah, I'm just very happy to be back playing in the pro circuit because of COVID. I've stopped playing in tournaments for almost 3 years. So this season I decided to play a little bit more tournaments, and slowly I'm getting back to the standard where I should be. But at the moment, I don't think I'm quite there yet. So I think in this tournament, I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself in achieving anything special, but anything can happen. But I just want to enjoy this tournament, and I'm sure all the Hong Kong snooker fans and the players will enjoy the tournament because we've suffered a lot, in the last few years because of COVID. So I think we deserve a nice tournament. All the players will enjoy it, and all the fans will enjoy it. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Hello， 唔該，想問翻 Marco 嘅都係，想問翻咧就係呢度唔該，係可以喺香港再搞翻一個國際賽事啦。對於成個嘅體育，對於成個桌球嘅運動嚟講啦，係個意義有幾重大啦咁樣。咁同埋第二咧，就啱啱見你都有分享就話可能要教各位大師咧用安心出行都用咗成粒鐘喎咁樣。咁所以想睇下其實當中嗰個睇法係點啊？困難喺邊咧？咁樣唔該。
其實我覺得因為疫情之後，今次係第一個，即係香港係第一個咁大型嘅比賽，就係我哋呢一次嘅桌球大師賽咁樣啦。咁所以其實我覺得自己作為參與嘅一份子，其實自己都好驕傲啦。咁希望今次比賽能夠可以即係圓滿成功咁樣啦。咁同埋都反映到原來即係我聽到今次賣飛情況各方面都非常理想啦。咁即係到時我諗都各位球迷或者係球員都好期待感受下到時個氣氛係點樣咯。即係喺即係可能7-8千人面前打波嘅感覺咁樣咯。咁應該就會即係打破之前最多人睇波嘅紀錄咁樣咯。咁所以其實成件事我覺得係好完美嘅，即係如果能夠可以成功嘅話咯。咁所以就即係反映到原來桌球喺香港人嘅心目中都係有一個好重要嘅地位喺度。咁所以自己都好開心可以有即係可以能夠參與到係。
Thank you. Any more questions? And please be reminded to introduce your publication name before asking the question.
可以問下
有冇問題問阿 Mark Selby 嘅 ？Any questions for Mark?
From CR News, I want to ask Mark, how do you feel about to come to Hong Kong again for after 5 years for the competitions? And besides for the competition, would you like to travel around Hong Kong? What do you want to do the most in Hong Kong? And do you get used to the Leave Home Safe app already, or do you know how to use? How do you feel about the control measures about the COVID in Hong Kong?
Yeah, it's great to be back in Hong Kong after so many years. Like Marco said, with the pandemic and COVID, it's been difficult for everybody all over the world. So it's great to be back in Hong Kong and to be playing in Asia again after so many years. It was 2017, the last time I came to Hong Kong to play in a tournament, which was amazing, playing in front of 3,000 people. And now this time it's going to be even more special, playing here in front of even more people and playing Marco as well, who's obviously representing Hong Kong and been a fantastic player himself over the years. So it's great to be here. Like Marco said, I'm just going to go out there and just enjoy the occasion because it's long overdue that we're here in Asia playing in tournaments again. So hopefully we just both put on a great show for the fans and I can enjoy my time in the few days that we're here in Hong Kong.
Thank you. Any more questions from the press?
Afternoon. This is Tom from South China Morning Post. A question for both of you, please, if I may. We all want to see tournaments coming back to China. The fans do, and I'm sure the players do. Before the pandemic, the calendar was really filling up with events in China. It was just healthy for the game, isn't it? So with this Hong Kong event being a start, I wondered what your thoughts were, both of you, on hopefully getting more tournaments back to China next year onwards and the impacts that can have?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I speak on behalf of all the players. Obviously, we want the tournaments back in China sooner rather than later. It's been a big miss on the calendar over the last few years, but I think the biggest thing at the moment is the quarantine. I think if the quarantine is reduced to like what the quarantine is here in Hong Kong, then I think tournaments can go ahead in China. But until that quarantine is restricted and comes down from 7 days to even less, I think it's going to be very difficult to have any kind of tournaments there. But it's really missed because we have maybe 5 or 6 tournaments on the calendar in China, and it's a big part of our tour. You know, I mean, financially, it's huge out there, and it's sadly missed. So hopefully, sooner rather than later, with having this tournament in Asia, hopefully China can see that we can make it work, and hopefully we go back there very soon.
Thank you, Mark. And any more questions from our press? The gentleman in the first row.
I think he was asking Mark.
Right. We still have Marco to answer the question.
Yeah, I totally agree with Mark's view on tournaments in China. I think without China's involvement, I think the calendar feels a bit empty, right? So I think it's just not the same without the Chinese tournaments, and I think all the players will, been missing, traveling to China, because every time we go to China, we always treat it like with great hospitality. So yeah, every time we go to China, we really enjoy playing there. So hopefully it's going to come back very soon. Hopefully next year. I'm quite positive about that. Next year we'll be back, I think.
Thank you, Mark and Marco. So the gentleman in the first row.
My question's from Mark, please. So the organizers have gone on the record saying that at first there's some trouble convincing overseas players to come to Hong Kong. And earlier, just now you said that if the quarantine is reduced to Hong Kong's level, then you find it acceptable. So I was wondering, like, what was the line for you? Like, at what point did it manage to convince you to think, oh, coming to Hong Kong, it's okay, it's not so bad? Is it quarantine, or is it anything beyond that?
No, it's not so much I'm saying it for myself. I just think for World Snooker governing body as a whole, for them to put tournaments on, I don't think it can be financially viable for all the players to come out here and do the 7-day quarantine before the tournament even starts, because we don't have that amount of room in the calendar. If we come to the tournament, we play the tournament for 1 week, and then we move on, and there's another tournament elsewhere. Where going to China now, you have to do the 7-day hotel and then 3-day at home. So that's 10 days before the tournament even starts for everybody to play in. So it's very, very difficult. Where with this tournament, I'm sure obviously some of the players have got exemptions to go into the venue to play. So maybe in China, like Marco says, if it starts next year, maybe they will probably only do 32 at the venue and not bring 128 over. So only 16 players qualify. Maybe that will be the start of tournaments in China. I'm not sure. But like Marco said, it's really missed on the calendar, and hopefully it can come back very soon.
Thank you, Mark. And any more questions you want to ask our players from the press? So I guess, one more question at the back. Yeah.
冇，頭先純粹講笑啫。不過真係大家有傾呢一樣嘢嘅，因為即係大家都有 download 呢個 app 啦。咁跟住之後就唔知點解咧，阿 Mark 咧頭先同我講咧，佢啱啱即係佢嚟咗2日啫嘛。咁但係就仲係藍色嘅喎，嗰個馬，我唔知點解，即係應該係黃嘅嘛。咁但係佢係藍，咁就問我點解咯。咁即係傾下呢啲咁樣啫。咁就即係講下英國嗰邊嗰個。即係 Covid 嗰個情況啊，咁即係其實早2年原來佢哋都要戴好，即係不停戴口罩，咁所以佢哋都唔係話完全唔習慣戴口罩咁樣啊，咁樣即係傾下呢一啲咁樣嘅嘢咯。咁啊講話即係依家英國基本上已經完全開放啦，咁樣香港依家都慢慢 OK 啦咁樣咯。咁所以佢哋都好期待嚟緊，即係希望每一年都可以嚟香港啦。咁即係呢個就即係我哋嘅即係球員嘅願望啦咁樣咯。
唔該晒 Marco， 仲有冇任何問題嘅？ Oh, okay, thank you. So here comes to the end of the Q&A session. Thank you, Mark Selby and Marco Fu, for sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Neil Robertson and Zhao Xintong to come on stage again for the Q&A session. All right, welcome again on stage. Okay, so now we would like to open the floor for 15 minutes Q&A sessions with Neil Robertson and Zhao Xintong. So, are there any questions you want to ask the players from the press? If yes, please raise your hand and we'll pass the microphone to you.
I want to ask Robertson, and there are around 8,000 audience watch the competition. It may be the bigger amount competition. What do you feel about the crowd? Is motivation, and in the coming competition, do you have the confidence to be the champion?
Okay. Neil?
Yes, I mean, it's certainly going to be very exciting to play. I've seen a little part of the little videos inside the arena, what it's going to be like, and all the tiered seating around it. It looks absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see what it looks like when the fans are inside. And I'm very, very excited to play against Xintong, who's just such an exciting player. Someone who I remember seeing him 5-6 years ago. Playing a tournament in China, and I thought, wow, just what an exciting young talent this is. And then, to see him improve and mature as a player the last couple of years, I was so happy for him when he won the UK Championship and the German Masters as well. As a fellow overseas player myself, I'm always really happy when players from outside the UK win tournaments, because I know how hard it is and the sacrifices these players have to make. I think that us two playing each other, two left-handers, two very attacking players. I'm sure that the several thousand that are going to be watching are going to really enjoy themselves, and hopefully we both play well and can put on a good show for them.
Thank you, Neil. Any more questions you want to ask our players? Xintong and Neil. Oh, okay, in the second row. Yep.
Hello， 唔該，想問下趙心彤 ，Hello 係你好，想問下咧，即係其實都知道你係啱啱翻嚟香港唔夠幾日啦，咁就即係可能都仲有啲黃碼限制啊，冇得去食嘢啦，咁樣會唔會都覺得有啲可惜咁樣？你係咁㗎？
因為我專登為咗今次過嚟打完比賽咧，我遲咗幾日先訂咗翻去英國嘅機票，所以咧等打完比賽，我肯定會去食啲我之前中意食嗰啲嘢，所以唔會擔心。不過喺食嘢之前咧，肯定要打好呢次比賽咯，希望可以攞到好嘅成績。
Thank you, Xintong. Any more questions you want to ask Neil or Xintong? 有冇問題嘅？係。
問翻，喂，都係問下趙心彤啊，咁係第一次嚟比賽同埋係第一次嚟香港係咪啊？
我之前嚟過好多次香港，不過第一次喺香港比賽咯。
OK， 咁有冇話即係香港邊一度地方會係比較即係令到你係留低特別好嘅印象啊？今次都會再去咁樣嘅？其他例如食物又會係中意邊啲食物？
因為我都係好細個嗰時嚟過香港幾次。我好似細嗰時過嚟咧，都係同我爸爸媽咪啊過嚟買下波鞋啊，然後食嘢啊，行下迪士尼啊。其實而家我有2-3年冇翻過香港啦，所以對香港都好期待。
同埋其實桌球一啲對你嘅評語咧，就話你都係新嘅奧蘇利雲或者係卓林普啊 ，Trump。你自己點樣睇啊？即係又係嗰句係壓力啊，定係對你係一種鼓勵咧？
其實咧，我對呢啲評論我都好保持樂觀啊，因為我覺得每個人風格都唔一樣啦。但係如果人哋對我有呢種評價，我覺得係對我一種讚賞咯。我覺得，所以我覺得係件好事。
Thank you, Xintong。仲有冇問題想問我哋兩位嘅球手㗎？Any more questions you want to ask Neil or Xintong? All right, the gentleman in the second row.
Hi, Tom from South China Morning Post. Question for Neil. You mentioned the man alongside you already, and we saw some of the young players on stage earlier. And you mentioned being an overseas player yourself in the context of where the tournaments are often held. So I wondered your thoughts on how important it is for tournaments to return to Hong Kong and mainland China to grow the game and to tap into the talent in those places.
Yeah, I think it's really important. It's important that the sport stays, keep promoting the overseas tournaments and keep supporting the players from overseas as well. We've seen what that kind of support can lead to, especially when Ding Junhui first came through from China. We started getting a lot more tournaments in China where we were going out sort of like 5 or 6 times a year, and that was creating more interest from in and around Asia, getting more and more younger players coming through. And then what that does is it creates a lot of different characters on the tour and stuff like that. You have people coming from different cultures and different countries. Yeah, you get different personalities, and I think it's been great. I think that with Xing Tong as well, he's a young, exciting player who's also become very good in his interviews, and I think that a lot of people can, wherever he goes to around the world, a lot of people can relate to him as a character and as a person, which is great for the sport, because for a long time it was predominantly British dominant from just players inside the UK, but now we have a lot more success from overseas, and that only inspires younger players to come through from these countries. And I think last season there was a run of tournaments where I think it was myself, Luca Brissell, I think Xing Tong, I think 1 or 2 other players from outside the UK. I think we won 7 or 8 tournaments in a row that are actually all won by players from outside of the UK, which if you were to tell people that 20 years ago, you'd never think it would ever happen. So it goes to show you sort of how well World Snooker have done in terms of promoting the sport worldwide. And now we've got a much mixed tour where we've got different winners from different countries all the time, which is only good for the growth of the sport.
Thank you, Neil. So any more questions for Neil or Xin Tong? All right, so that's the end of our Q&A session for Neil and Xin Tong. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you. Yeah, round of applause for our players. And thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Thank you. So next we would like to invite Judd Trump and John Higgins to come on stage again to share their thoughts. And if you guys have any questions for them, please raise your hand and we'll pass the microphone to you. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Judd Trump and John Higgins. Round of applause, please. Right, thank you. So now we would open the floor for 15 minutes Q&A sessions. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand. And remind to introduce yourself by your name and your publication name before you ask the question. So, any questions from the press for our players?
Afternoon, Tom from South China Morning Post. John, you mentioned earlier how you've been coming to Asia over the years. You've probably seen a lot of progress in the sport over that time. And Judd, you've been one who's been pushing for a long time for the sport to promote itself and modernize it as much as it can. So for both of you, how important is it for tournaments to be coming back to Hong Kong and then hopefully soon to mainland China?
Yeah, it's obviously a big step to come back here. The fans are always fanatical when you come and play here, which makes the players feel special, because obviously when we play so many tournaments back in the UK, it's as if they become used to you so many times. So it's always nice to come back to Hong Kong and play, and I think we're all delighted just being back here. And then obviously hopefully this could be the start for us to come out and play more tournaments out in Asia, which would be, we've missed them really much, so it'd be good to come back and play soon out in Asia.
Yeah, I think Hong Kong is one of the nicer places we get to play on the snooker calendar. So what also helps is that it doesn't come around that often. it just makes it that little bit more special, and I think everyone appreciates it just that little bit more. Obviously, the crowd, how many people turn up, makes it exciting for us to come here, knowing that there's going to be such big crowds. Some of the events in the UK and other places, you can kind of get a little bit bored of playing and maybe not want to be there. But you know when you come here, as soon as you land, the sort of buildings, the drive is spectacular. There's everything you could ever need here. The people are super friendly, super intelligent, and it just makes for an amazing atmosphere. And just having sort of a special field, only having 8 people here, the best players in the world, I think is a tournament that you want to win. There's a few events on the calendar that you're not really bothered about if you enter and you don't win, but this is one where at the end of the week, when you've got such big crowds in there, it would be amazing to be going home with the trophy.
Thank you, Judd and John. And any more questions? The lady in the second row.
Questions from RTHK. So do you find any anti-epidemic control measures kind of confusing in Hong Kong? For example, the use of the Leave Home Safe app, and also for the bubble arrangements, do you think it has kind of affected your preparation in Hong Kong? Thank you.
Yes, it's obviously that the Hong Kong people must have found it really difficult in the last few years. We obviously were going through all these stringent measures a couple of years ago back in the UK, so we know what you're going through, but hopefully now it looks like yous are coming out the other side of it the same way we did maybe 18 months ago, and hopefully life can become a little bit less stressful. So it's obviously, it brings back memories because we have to wear the face masks wherever we go, and it's not good memories to have, but it's just something you have to put up with, and then hopefully everyone can go over this pandemic really quickly. So I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. And any more questions?
The question for Jude. Have you prepared any your tricks, special skill like strong cue power to show the Hong Kong fans?
I can't tell John any secrets, so maybe I've been practicing some special power shots just for John and the Hong Kong crowd, but I think obviously it would be nice to play some good shots, some exciting snooker. I think most importantly when you're playing in this tournament, everyone is great players, so it's important to win the frame and try and win the match, and then after the frame is won, you can play the exhibition shots. With how many people are here, it would be nice to hopefully go out and play well. But I think for me, I'm just so excited to be back here. Hong Kong is one of my favorite cities, and to be able to play in front of so many people is very special, and it kind of makes you feel a lot more important than some of the tournaments in the UK, where everyone can see you so often. Maybe not a lot of people turn up. Over here is every 5 years, so you feel like more of a star maybe in tennis or some other sports.
Thank you, Judd. And the gentleman in the first row.
So one of the this question from AFP is for both of you. So one of the remaining COVID restrictions is the Amber Code. You can't go into restaurants. So how has that arrangement been working out for you guys since your arrival? Like the food-wise, like are you getting like hotel, like room service, or how does that impact your enjoyment of Hong Kong, which you guys were just talking about?
Yes, well, I arrived on Monday night, so I've been in the hotel for, this will be my second day now. So the hotel's been lovely. All the people looking after us in the event have been fantastic. And the food has been really nice, really nice. So obviously I think I have one more day, and then I can hopefully go out and sample the restaurants of Hong Kong, and look forward to playing my match with Judd. So, yeah, everything so far so good. They've really looked after us.
Yeah, same really. I only got here yesterday, so it's very soon. I just had some food in the hotel last night, and then today we do our interviews, and the same again. It's obviously we would all like to be able to go and eat out, but luckily the restrictions changed. It made it a bit easier for us, only having to do 3 days, and then we can go out and explore this wonderful what everything Hong Kong has to offer.
Thank you, Judd and John. And one more question over there.
Just following on from that, Judd, you were partnering on Yi at the World Mixed Doubles recently. So was she giving you any tips or advice for Hong Kong, or was she beginning to get excited and hype up the Hong Kong event?
Yeah, it was a great experience, and I've always enjoyed coming here. So naturally, it was exciting to be coming back. But no, nothing really can. It's obviously so different now in the UK compared to the restrictions over here. So you kind of forget about sort of what's gone on. But obviously, we just do our best to abide by the rules for as long as we have to, and then everything sort of after the 3 days we play our game. And then kind of goes a little bit more back to normal. So no, it doesn't really dampen our spirits or anything. I'm sure it's just going to be the same amazing atmosphere as last time.
All right, thank you. So maybe one more question before we wrap up. All right, one more question over there.
This match between you two has some history, I suppose. You've had some high-profile matches before, so does that raise the expectations for maybe another classic like we've seen before?
Yeah, I hope so. It's really, since I've been a professional and I've seen Judd come into the professional game, I've seen him grow from being a young boy in the game to obviously one of the best players ever nowadays to pick up a cue. So it's been, we've always had really, really good matches in the past. And we've had some big high-profile matches, and Friday's match might be the biggest match or the biggest crowd that we've ever played in front of. So it's a match I'm really looking forward to playing, not only just Judd, but in front of the crowd as well. So I can't wait for that.
I think probably some of the games we've had, I think mine and John's has probably been, for me, probably the best, not rivalry, but the best competitive games I've had. I've played some of my best ever games, and John's still beat me. So I'd say John's probably one of the only players where I'm able to play somewhere near my absolute best and know that it still may not be good enough. And there's not many players that I fancy playing like that against. And in the past, I've been 4-0, 5-1 up against him, and he doesn't miss for 5 frames. So I think it was good for me having all those games early on in my career. It kind of teaches you early on that you can never think that you're sort of over the winning line, and been sort of taught a lot of lessons from John. And every time I go to play him, I get excited and just try and take as much possible from the game, soak as much in, and I think it helps knowing that you have to play unbelievably well. It just kind of relaxes me. You know you've got to play well to beat him, and it kind of it just adds that little bit of extra incentive, and he's still up there as one of the biggest sculpts in snooker, one of the best players ever. For me, is very close between him and Ronnie. I think consistently, John's probably played the best of anyone ever against me over sort of the 20, 30 times we played.
Thank you, Judd, and thank you, John. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, and wishing you the best of luck in the coming match. Thank you. So a round of applause to our legendary players on stage. Thank you. So this is the end of the Q&A session. Thank you. So moving on, we're going to invite the last two players to come on stage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ronnie O'Sullivan and On Yi to come on stage for the Q&A session. Welcome again. So we will have a 15 minutes Q&A session. And if you have any questions for Ronnie or On Yi, please raise your hand and we'll pass the microphone to you. The lady at the back.
Question from Cable. First, I want to ask the both players. There are around 80,000 audience watch the competition. It may be the bigger amount competition. What do you feel about the crowd? Is motivation? And the second question I want to ask Ronnie. The first competition you will deal with On Yi. What do you think of her? And 第三條想問下吳安儀啦，想問下即係喺混雙賽就贏過奧蘇利雲啦，會唔會加強咗信心啦？同埋同佢鬥會唔會覺得自己邊啲位要再加強去應對咧？唔該晒。
So should any one of you would like to go first? Maybe On Yi? Yep.
今次係8000人嘅觀眾啦，咁我記得5年前係喺醫館，大約有2000零3000人度。咁嗰次我就係對 Jimmy White 同埋 Stephen Hendry 嘅，咁我當時我就係好緊張嘅。咁有排嘅嗰次打嘅時候係掛緊8號風球，爭啲要閉門作賽嘅。咁但係今次就希望唔會打風啦。咁同埋終於可以喺正式比賽度同 Ronnie 打。咁我覺得對我嚟講係好好嘅，尤其是答埋你第二條問題啦，因為你問埋我 mixed doubles 咁。我覺得係一個好嘅 warm up 嚟嘅，因為其實本來我係應該舊年嘅職業賽開始嘅時候就已經會對 Ronnie 㗎啦，咁但係嗰陣時因為疫情就飛唔到過去打啦，咁而家終於可以喺正式比賽 single 對住佢，咁所以我都係好 looking forward 嘅。
And Ronnie?
Yeah, what was the question?
The first question is, how do you feel about playing in front of a large crowd at a large venue? Am I right?
How do you think about me?
And how do you think about playing against On Yi?
Yeah, very excited to play in this event. You know, every time we come to Hong Kong, always first-class event, and you know this new venue, so many people, 6, 7, 8,000. So never experienced this before. So it's going to be something really new for me, and looking forward to it. You know, and obviously On Yi to play in the first round, who's from Hong Kong. I'm sure she's going to have a lot of support, and she's done very good coming over to play onto the main tour. And you know, we had some practice sessions together, and it was very close. So I'm expecting a tough match, and yeah, it should be good. Looking forward to it.
Lovely, thank you. So any questions from the press and in the front row?
My question is for Ronnie from AFP. So Marco Fu was just joking that he spent the better part of an hour teaching you and other players to use the Leave Home Safe app. So upon coming to Hong Kong and seeing all of the anti-COVID policies, like the apps and the tests and the masks and the rules, is it all a bit of a bother? Like, how does that strike you?
No, I think we all got used to not coming out the house for a long time, even where you know, in the UK it was very, very strict for a long time. So you understand, you know, how it can be. You know, obviously UK is opened up, it's like back to normal, but Asia in particular still have stricter restrictions. So you have to respect that. That's the way it is. We're happy to have them restrictions and be able to come here rather than not come here, you know. So we're excited to be here. So we want to respect all the restrictions there are. You know, we're still able to walk the streets, get some fresh air. We just have to be careful and, you know, just do the right thing. And then, yeah, so there's not an issue from me, certainly.
So 2 weeks ago, the government announced the end of hotel quarantine. Like, was that like a moment of relief for you? And yeah.
It doesn't really bother me, you know, because I knew we could go practice to the room, and that's fine for me. You know, sometimes it's easier because you don't have to bother with people, the crowd. You know, it's just a quieter life. So for me, sometimes I like the restrictions. You know, now it's opened up a bit. You kind of have to sort of, you know, mingle with people and this and that, and sometimes that can be a distraction. And really, when you play sport, you just want to be left alone, quiet, relaxed, play your game. So, you know, there's some benefits to having tight restrictions, but, you know, it's opened up a little bit, so we just have to deal with it, you know.
Thank you, Ronnie. Any questions for Onyi or Ronnie from the press?
Afternoon, Tom from South China Morning Post. Ronnie, you've spoken many times in support of all of the talent coming out of China, and the players seem to always enjoy going there for tournaments. So how important is it to get Hong Kong and then mainland China back onto the snooker calendar, to fill out the calendar again and tap into that talent in China?
Yeah, obviously some big talent in China. You see the tournaments now, when it gets to the last 32, last 64, you know, at least 1/3 of the players left in the tournament are Chinese. So, yeah, very, very big participation from the Chinese players. And I think it would be great, you know, to get some more tournaments back in Asia. But from my perspective, it's been easier to not travel as much. Not that I travelled much before anyway. But, you know, there was a lot of travelling involved in snooker before. Sometimes they could have planned it better. And so not having that travel has made it easier for me to compete more. But obviously once it comes back, yeah, it would be nice to have more opportunities to play in tournaments in Asia, China, Hong Kong, wherever that may be, you know.
Thank you, Ronnie. Next question. Please raise your hand. Okay.
Also a question for O'Sullivan. As you've revisited Hong Kong, so any change have you seen in Hong Kong players as well as growth in Asian snookers? Like, do you think it has been kind of slowing down because of the pandemic? And yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
No, I think Asian snooker is as strong as it's ever been, you know. Before, when we come to Asia, you had Thailand, James Watana, and then obviously China got more involved in snooker, and they produce some great young talent, you know, Ding Junhui, and because of Ding, lots of other young Chinese players start to think, well, if Ding can do it, then maybe I can do it. So Ding became a very big role model for a lot of Chinese players, and I think as well with Hong Kong, Marco Fu, who's been a top player on the circuit for many, many years. Brilliant player, you know, and now Onyi coming through as well to play for Hong Kong. I think Asian snooker is so strong now, so strong, you know, so it won't be long before, you know, possibly a world champion from China become world champions soon, you know.
Thank you, Ronnie. Any more questions for Onyi? Or in the first row, yeah.
安怡，你啱啱先同阿奧蘇都合作過啦，咁你會唔會即係趁佢狀態麻麻地，同埋啱啱新鮮翻嚟香港，趁佢咩可以睇到佢一啲路數啊？有冇呢個信心可以趁佢啱啱翻嚟可以打敗佢？
我有信心，我一定會好 enjoy 場比賽，因為我覺得可以喺咁大型嘅場館去同佢單對單打，而且仲要係喺自己嘅 hometown 香港我屋企，咁所以我好有信心我會 enjoy 嗰場比賽嘅。咁另外就係啱啱個 mixed double 所以係一個好嘅 warm up 嚟嘅，因為我個 partner 就係 Judge Trump 啦，咁但係喺嗰場比賽入邊，我都有自己 imagine 到，我係同 Ronnie 打緊，因為我記得我有幾球瞄波，佢都係坐喺對面。我只係喺度諗，如果到時 Hong Kong Master 應該都會係咁嘅感覺咯。咁所以我覺得呢個都係一個好好嘅 warm up 嚟嘅。
Thank you, Onyi. Maybe one more question before the wrap up.
Question for Onyi, please. I'm sure you've been excited to welcome your fellow players to Hong Kong in your hometown, and maybe you've been giving them some advice. We know Ronnie often likes to thank his Chinese fans in Mandarin during interviews and that kind of thing. I wondered, had you been trying to teach him any Cantonese? And also maybe he needs a jogging route that you could recommend.
Do you want to learn Cantonese?
A little bit, yeah.
In Chinese, in Mandarin, they would say hello in ni hao. I think you know it.
Yeah, I know ni hao.
Yeah, in Hong Kong, we say lei hou.
Ni hao.
Yeah.
Ni hao. Okay.
And have you eat anything? Yes, you can ask. 食咗飯未?
Okay.
Yeah, you can ask them. 食咗飯未? 食咗飯未?
I haven't. I'm going out tomorrow morning with a friend of mine who lives in Hong Kong, so looking forward to jogging in Hong Kong. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Ronnie, and thank you, Arnie, for sharing your thoughts with us today. And wish you both good luck in the following match. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause to Ronnie and Arnie. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. So here comes to the end of the Q&A session. So thank you so much for all the participation from every one of you today. And here comes to the end of the Q&A session. So thank you for being here with us today, and we hope to see you guys soon in the coming matches in the coming few days. Thank you.